Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Culture Ultras podcast, joined by myself, James, Fion, and returning guest Luka Lagvilava, everybody.
Oh, you did it right. He said the name right. He had about 73 goals at that before.
It was fine the first time as well, so no worries, mate.
I did my prep. Wanted to be, I was for it. How are you, Luka? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How you guys?
Not too bad, thank you. The last time we were here, we briefly discussed Georgia's playoff hopes in the Euros. How do you feel? Obviously, a lot's happened. Kavic's suspended. What are the thoughts currently?
I mean, with all due respect to Luxembourg, I think even without Vulture, we should be able to get a result, even at home. And obviously, it depends if everyone's like healthy and fit and such. But I think we have got a team that could beat Luxembourg without Vulture as well. And the finals definitely going to be tough. Obviously, we've got Greece, who I think, as a team, they've got. I think they've got a better squad in general because, well, obviously, it's more of a well-built team from top to bottom. But I mean, we could also see Kazakhstan in the final because they're on a roll this qualifying campaign, and it'll definitely be tough. But with us having the chance to play both the semi-final and the final at home, I think we should be edging our first Euros finals, and hopefully this is the second time lucky for us this time because we already lost the playoff finals already at home as well back in 2020. So hopefully we'll be fortunate enough to make
1,000 to 1 to win the tournament, and I've staked my life on it. But no, I'll get these in. Look at it because get the plugs in as we go. Luka's new merch store. Look at this fine produce here. We've also got this one, which is a co-creation. And we've got stickers. Look at these. Oh, there you go. Look at that. There. Oh, I've got to put that one up at Piccadilly as well. That's on the store. It's still there as well.
Yeah, I've got the picture on my phone, so I'm going to show that to my grandkids.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
We've got because we've got the Georgian Cup final this weekend.
Yeah.
We do. We've got it's Sabatalo versus who is it again? Batumi, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, what do you reckon? What we thinking predictions wise for the cup final?
I mean, Sabatalo turned into a team that like to win the cup because they've won it twice inside the last 3 years. So it's a tournament they like to play. But in the meantime, I think with the way the second part of the season played out, I think Batumi should probably walk away with the win. Especially, I mean, they won the championships. Obviously, the kind of the mood and the motivation might be high. So I think Batumi's going to have it 2-1 to Dino Batumi in the final. Yeah.
I will put some money on that and blame you when it loses. But we've had actually, he said about Luxembourg as well. That was that's probably the lowest moment. That's the lowest moment of my Ireland supporting career, getting beat 1-0 by Luxembourg. Although they did have the lad who scored played for Dynamo Kiev, so it was obviously better than our entire team. Yeah, it was better than our entire team. Other than, of course, James McLean, who now plays for Wrexham, still gets in the side. Well, not anymore. He's retired, but
I think New Zealand got beat by, I want to say, Solomon Islands once.
Oh,
yeah, for OFC Nations Cup. So,
painful.
It was a very expensive away day. I didn't go, but I imagine it was very expensive. Yeah, I'm just looking at the path. Sorry to like crisscross it. I'm looking at the path here. I think the purists do want a Georgia-Kazakhstan. I'd love a Georgia-Kazakhstan playoff final. Should you win, Turkey, Portugal, and Czech Republic away, I think you've got to fancy your chances there.
Yeah, I mean, one thing's for sure, it's all about qualifying there. That's it. And then I think with the way the group actually turned out, I think it's actually the second best group to be in terms of how competitive the teams are. Same with I think Ukraine probably get either Romania, Slovenia, and Belgium. I think, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So that group as well, there are definitely some points being gained by teams who aren't really the favourites. And I think if we make it, we should be able to get maybe a first point on the board ever at a major footballing tournament. But I mean, before that, obviously, we have to beat Luxembourg and then beat whoever's in the final. So fingers crossed. This is it. This is it, because I got all the already searched the flights to Hamburg, to Dortmund, to Gelsenkirchen, and everywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if we make
Welcome
it,
on
then
welcome on the stag, James. With
yeah.
James, with
Yeah,
Luka.
keep it going.
Yeah, come on, James.
Yeah,
Stag do.
Luka, you are more than welcome because people are dropping like flies, mate. Honestly, the game that we were looking at going at is it'll be Romania v Iceland, Bosnia, Israel, or no, not Poland. I don't know who the other team is.
Poland out. Poland are out, aren't they?
No,
they're in bracket. Bosnia, Ukraine, Israel, or Iceland.
Yeah, I fancy Ukraine to make it, honestly, because they've probably got the better team out of there, but you never know.
Yeah, Bosnia and Iceland are woeful, aren't they?
I mean, they both got beaten by Luxembourg.
Exactly.
In
there you go.
Yeah.
They've not got that bad. It's weird how Luxembourg haven't got that bad of a team. And Miralem Pjanic is a bit of a fun fact. Miralem Pjanic could have played for
Luxembourg. Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah, I think Bosnia kind of get lumped in as but I think the Dzeko years are very much.
He's still playing for him, but he's
He is, yeah, and so is Kolasinac, I think.
Yeah,
it's just the rest of the team.
Yeah, there's some issues with the FA, I think, in there, because I think they tried to organise a game with Russia, a friendly game with Russia last summer or something like that. So everyone went kind of hectic, like, "What are you doing?" They're in the middle of the water, like, "What are you doing?" I think that there are a lot of players who kind of criticise the coach as well as the president of the federation. So it's not the best time for Bosnian football. But yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. They've still got a decent bunch of players because most of them play in top European leagues. So yeah.
I really hope you do make it, because I genuinely think this is going to be the best. I think this quite possibly might be one of the best tournaments ever. I think I've got high hopes on this being phenomenal.
I have a strong feeling that it's going to be the 20 years since Greece 04. Someone unusual someone who's not won it before will win it this time.
Yes.
There you go. And hopefully that's not England.
No, England's group kind of reeks of 0-0, 1-0.
Yeah.
1-1.
England get the easiest group again because of imperialism. That's why.
Well, to be fair, if Wales qualify, they've got Holland, Austria, and France, which isn't ideal.
But... Yeah, definitely.
It's great.
There's some horrible groups in there. Like the let's have a look. I'll go through it. Probably should have loaded this. I'm too busy on Air of Newly Liga 2 on the app. We'll talk about that quickly while I search for groups. The title decider in the Liga 2 this weekend. Which was Colchetti and Garaji, I believe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And then I saw Kavic's agent. What's called Mamuka Jageli, I want to say.
Yeah.
There you go. He looks like a proper mafia boss.
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely. He thinks he's Mino Raiola, but he's not. But he's the sort of guy who made his business in the post-Soviet countries, which basically means that he's tied with every single mafia person from that region, basically. So,
yeah. There's just as the proper air of it's just anytime you see a big fat bloke with sunglasses running on a football pitch like that, you just think, mafia. Always the way. All right, so European. So we've got in the first, Scotland's group is pretty disgusting. Germany and Switzerland, because I don't think they'll get at. Well, it's because if you finish third, you get through, don't you? So
Depending on how many points you've got.
But yeah,
I
it's a bit.
honestly believe Hungary might finish top of that group.
You think?
Yeah, I think they're going to be. Do you remember Denmark last tournament? Like, I think they got beaten by England in the semi-finals with an absurd penalty on Sterling, which was never a penalty. I think Hungary might actually
Imperialism again.
Yeah, I think Hungary might actually have a push to, I don't know, maybe qualify. It depends how the bracket kind of is put together
Worked
with
out.
groups. But I think Hungary might actually finish first in Group A. So we'll see that.
Yeah, because was it what tournament was it where Hungary did really well?
Nations League was it? They beat England like 4-0, beat Germany,
That's the one.
and beat someone else, and they finished top of their group. So, and the Euros as well. They had Germany, France, and Portugal, I think.
Yeah, and they got through, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best. I think it's Euro 2016. They have a 3-3 draw against Portugal, which is one of the best games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right?
Like Ronaldo scored a back heel. PSV legend Balas Jujak scored like two goals and stuff. So
that's Jujak. What a player!
I know.
Still playing, I think, in the second division. I think is it, or maybe he got promoted to the NB1 as they call it in Hungary. So no, that was a great. That was actually a nice tournament to follow because of Iceland, Hungary as well. Gabor Kirai in net with joggy bottoms.
That's perfect.
Paul Robson Kanu turning into Johan Cruyff.
Oh yeah, then who was it who signed him? And like, was it West Brom in the Premier League? Thinking he was going to be like, he's going to be unreal. This, and I know it's Paul Robson Kanu.
Yeah, that was a great tournament as well. Bale scoring for halfway line against Slovakia as well, I think. So yeah, that was a great tournament.
I think you find that more with Euros than World Cups. Obviously, you get a lot more excited match. I think because obviously a lot of you get a far more chance of groups of death and stuff. But like teams that you would think would be minnows are more likely to triumph. I think in the European Championship rather than the World Cup.
Well, Greece,
yeah, exactly. Which is why I sometimes prefer it. Although with the expansion of the World Cup to 48 teams, what my money's on Burkina Faso. How obviously we spoke a lot last pod about Vulture. How do you think he's been doing this season for Napoli? What are your thoughts?
I think it's going to sound strange, but I think he's doing better than what I thought he would do last season, which wasn't all right. Yeah, it's a case of like, obviously, he struggled to score goals for months and provide assists and such, but you also have to consider how difficult it is to step up in a league which is levels above any other league you've ever played at and just score like 15 assists, like 14. And because of that, I think that his mental side of things kind of didn't really stick together with him kind of well because it's difficult. It's very difficult, especially when you did not expect yourself to do that great. This season, he started off with he's a different kind of player as well as other players kind of figuring him out and other teams figuring him out because obviously when there's someone who like Iron Robin, do you remember he was basically doing the same thing that couldn't in inside, but he did that 10 times per game because he's that good. Feature they've figured him out a bit more, but he now tries to do other things like he tries to move inside a bit more, tries to use both feet more than what he used to be during his first season as well. But yeah, the coaching changes as well. It hasn't really been the greatest for both him and Napoli in general. They're like 18 points behind Inter now, which basically means they're like probably not even close of repeating the championship. It's more of it's not a disappointing season. I think it's the sort of season you'd expect him to have after that. Great, because it's kind of difficult to keep up the level because you have to develop as a player and to learn new ways how to get around people, how to score goals, how to contribute to a team. So this and the upcoming season, I think he has to work on decision making way more than what he used to do last season. And if he manages to do it, he'll probably elevate his game even more. Maybe come 2025. I'll say it that way. So yeah,
I
Is it
think the same thing will happen to Jude Bellingham next year. Whereas because he's been sort of because Kavic's only what? He's only
21,
22,
now.
22,
Yeah.
So how old's Jude Bellingham's about? He's a bit younger.
Yeah, Jude's
Yeah.
about 20. He's 20, I think. Yeah. So.
Well, they've both been I don't know. I have a thing because obviously they both were. Feature robbed, obviously. Golden ball, obviously. Bellingham, shite. But he's I think after when you hit such a high level so early, I think there's bound to be a season. And as well, every journalist arsehole in the world is looking to go. Look, he's not as good as you thought. Fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of numbers, honestly, but he's statistically having more efficient season this year than he had last season. Because I remember in the first 5 games in the 2022-2023 season, he had only 3 dribbles completed out of 36 or 37, which is a woeful record for a winger. But he kind of scored goals for fun. But this season, I think he progressed as a player in terms of this decision making he does, and again, it's kind of difficult to maintain that level because what more can you expect him to do? Same with Jude, he's an amazing player, and if he does way better than what he's doing now, I'm definitely in for it. But I won't be surprised if he scores 8 goals next season if he kind of sticks to the same role which he has now in Madrid. He's more of a he was a number I say number 8 at Dortmund, number 8 or number 6, but now he's more advanced. He's just behind the forward, so allows a guy of his size, of his kind of frame, to just roam in the midfield and just score headers, rebound goals, long range strikes as well, as he scored in their Clasico. But yeah, you have to consider every sort of bit because it's difficult to maintain and improve that 15, 20, 25, 30 goals per season, especially if you're not a striker.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it's different. It's way different being a winger, way bit different being a number 10 / that shadow forwardy player. So yeah, I mean, with especially we're talking about 20, 22-year-old guys who still yet to reach their peak. So
I think as well with what Bellingham's done really really well is I think with more English players should do it as well because especially the English press are a bunch of thugs essentially. So I can because he's a bit removed in Spain. Otherwise, if Bellingham was playing for Bellingham was playing for United, for instance, and having a shit and United having a shit season. English press bit every day. It's Bellingham's fault. And the papers like the Daily Mail going, have you realised he's black as well? So yeah, all that kind of shit.
They've even started to turn on Haaland ever so slightly. The minute he becomes the milliseconds he becomes unproductive, people are like, oh yeah, not worth it. Oh, is the trouble on the boat? No.
Yeah, and he's still got 17 goals and 4 assists in 7 games, does it? But it's a matter of he hasn't scored for 3 games, so he's bad.
Yeah. Therefore,
Holland's got a goal a game this season, and people are like, yeah.
Oh, it's not great, is it?
It's the FIFAization of football, isn't it? It's the fact.
Yeah. And it's
I
also
need you
a
to be
case
good.
of it's also a case of he's got that bar set up so high. Everyone expects him to score hat-trick every single game. So he didn't score more than 1 goal per game, so he's shit. Which is not you'd have him in every single team in the world probably.
Yeah,
but still
one of the worst things I've ever heard. When you talk it's a group of mates and you're talking a bit of football, and then but there's one lad who's not really that into football but wants to join in. I remember a mate of ours once said, who's claims to be a City fan, who went, "Oh yeah, for me though, Haaland. This is last season as well, like the end of last season when City fucking smashed it and he scored about 500. For me, he's not really a number 9. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
You made a good point before about players coming and realizing they're playing in league that is much more high tempo, much more competitive. I think that's the one thing people do tend to forget when overseas players join one of like the big four. Like I'm forever defending my hero Chris Wood, and what a lot of people don't realise is that before he joined Burnley, before he joined Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, the man was playing against sort of dentists. Like you
dentists.
you have got a it's why I'm a big fan of players who are like playing for countries of origin as opposed to like playing for England. Is like they want to make it better and put more eyes on it and produce a good crop of players. Maybe Fionn, because Fionn obviously you scouted Feature. Maybe you could be sort of like not maybe not like a Colonel. What was his name? The guy who was with Elvis. Can't think of his name. Not like that, but not like a mentor. But you could be kind of like the Feature whisperer.
Oh yeah.
And you could maybe before the playoffs and before Napoli games, you could sort of have a word with them and go.
Just like Lineker and Gaza.
Yeah. You could just you could be like the other members of the squad could run out and you go, Feature, just wait a minute, mate. You've got this.
I've had it a few times where I think like the only one that's come true so far is Feature, but there's been a few times where Emil Rokov, goalkeeper in Serbia, who's the best goalkeeper I've ever seen playing for Vojvodina. He now plays in Hungary, but he's never gone. I thought this lad is unreal, and then and then there's been another couple of them. Leroy Leiter, when I was young, thought he'd take on the world, didn't. But he's so there you go. My scouting is almost always perfect. I got Shaq Matadza as well before all of his injuries. He would have been, it would have been the shit would have been Shaq Matadza and Farhat Skelly unstoppable.
They're actually picking up a bit of form together recently as well because Shaq has assisted him like 3 times in the last 3 games. So that's something I've been looking forward for like 5 years. And with Shaq Fatadze being like 24, 24, he's been with the national team for the past like 5-6 years. He's played just 22 games, which is just basically shows how injury prone he is because some players actually like Gavi's got like 22 appearances for his nation. Probably every single year.
He's a fetus, isn't
he? Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's a case of unfortunate injuries, but I think he's I've seen the pictures of him and I've seen a couple of games at Watford. He's just built mass, which definitely helps him to maintain fitness, and hopefully he'll be the one who's going to deliver the final for us, and maybe in the final, both him and Creech are going to make history for us. And we're going to win the Euros.
As well. I think Davitas Villa is very underrated. I'm surprised he's still at Bordeaux.
I'm not. I'm actually not because, especially with the way football is played and with how stats and like goals and obviously they're like from an attacking player you'd expect goals and assists and such. But I think I saw him first play when he was like 15 or somewhere like 15 or 16, and he was always a baller back in the day. But he looked as a player who hasn't really got a position on the pitch. He was basically given the number 10 shirt. And he just played as an attacking midfielder. And when you're like 15 or 16, you can always get by with quality and with just technique and stuff. But since like he progressed as a player and since the football kind of changed, he just never really got a position where he feels kind of comfortable. When you'd expect him to give 100%, because in my opinion, I thought he would have been a great right wing back like 2 years ago because of the way he is. Like he's got tireless energy. He runs up and down. He's physically quite decent, although he's not the tallest. He's about like 5'9" or something. he's got a build of a player who's just going to just run up and down, cover, attack, defend, and such. But now I think he might be a decent centre mid as well, next to like a defensive midfielder, like a proper anchoring defensive midfield, like Bernardo Silva is at City. He's more of a centre mid / right mid rather than a right winger, which he was at Monaco. He's more of just the guy who takes the ball and just runs around the midfield, kind of connects the dots. I think he could be that kind of guy for us. But as a winger, I'm not sure if he'll ever be a guy who's going to produce 10 plus goals and 10 plus assists for any side he plays as well. So,
I think it is the death of football in a lot of ways, isn't it? All the stat stuff, just sort of depressing. I like you'll see all the little dweebs in for Fabrizio Romano's replies. Oh, well, he's actually only got 6.149 people. Oh,
The XG thing annoys me because people have started using XG from fixtures from the past to then sort of say,
like
"Oh yeah, well they could have won." And it's like, come on, it's just, yeah.
Bobby Moore XG. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
LA's XG.
Terrible, absolutely terrible. Obviously, the Georgian League this year, Tbilisi, apologies, missing out by 3 points. Despite that, what's the outlook going into next season?
Oof.
Is it too early to tell?
Well, it's a case of, I think 8 out of 10 clubs are struggling financially, which is not good. Tbilisi as well, because they're about like players haven't got their salaries for like 3 or 4 months, I think, and they're probably going to try to sell all the players they can sell. Which I think there are like 6 or 7 players who could leave the team on a transfer. So yeah, that's the case for us, and unfortunately, I'm not really seeing any rebuild material here, because like if you don't have any kind of money, it's difficult to build something, especially because we heavily rely on the academy, but this crop of players who we're getting from the academy isn't really the greatest as well. So I think it will be a year where we're gonna struggle to keep up with Dinamo Batumi at the top. Whereas Batumi as well, they're actually also struggling financially. But I think because of they've got some sort of core, and the manager they've got will probably get the players he likes to, which is typically attacking players, ball dominant players. I think they will probably be the favourites to win it. And the other team, who I think will be up there in terms of contending the title next season, is our arch rivals in Torpedo Kutaisi, led by Steve Keane, former Blackburn Rovers.
Forgot that.
Wow,
Big Steve Keane.
Yeah, big Steve Keane.
Steve Keane living my dream, bastard.
I've heard that he's been a horrific coach wherever he went to. But one thing's for sure, yeah, he's single-handedly turned one of the most talented Georgia football players of the past, who became lazy, who basically quit on football, into one of the best players in the league, in Georgi Arabidze, who used to play for like Shakhtar Donetsk, and he was like, the Georgian Messi and stuff back in the day. But I mean, he gave up on football kind of early on. He's like 25. But now he really picked it up, and statistically, as we're discussing statistics, he's the most efficient player in the league with an average of 7.95 rating score on SofaScore. So, I mean, he's a Ryan. He's a decent character by the looks of things, because he tried to acclimatize and adapt with the culture in Georgia. Tried to learn a few Georgian words as well. I think he's a decent character, and hopefully he'll bring some sort of players who will develop the team, as well as the management will decide what route they want to go. And as of now, I think they've picked the right model, which is as many foreigners as possible. But with the number, obviously the quality has to come in, and hopefully they'll managed to get a bit of momentum in terms of signing players, decent players. And they're in the Conference of the Qualifiers next summer, so I expect them to at least go first round, maybe next round, second round. So yeah, we'll see. And also excited with Colchetti Potti coming back to the top flight. They've got a decent little stadium. They've got one of the oldest fan bases because they're the oldest current team in Georgia. We'll see. It might be a fun season next season. It will be a fun season, I think. I think by the looks of things right now, Dima Batumi might be the clear-cut favourites, but you never know. You never know.
You said that the 8 out of 10 teams in financial difficulty. With Georgia's inclusion to the Euros, I assume obviously that will put a lot more eyes on Georgia football-wise. Do you think that's something that can improve, or are the problems a lot more deep-rooted than that?
The problems are here we've discussed this on the last podcast. It's more of a case of the mentality as well as the past we have, as well as the way the football is actually played in here. By that I mean the governing bodies, the owners, the managers, and the quality of the managers, the players they're using. So I think that with the Euros, if we're making, and fingers crossed we do, a lot more interest will be gathered towards the league, towards the nation, which will help us to develop as a country, to help players go to better leagues. If any of our teams manage to make it to the group stage of the Champions League, the Europa League, or the Conference League, and again that's an extra boost for the league itself. And I reckon it'll be a huge thing for football, like all around, for club football as well as for the national team and for the youth teams as well, because we had a decent campaign of the under 21 Euros this past summer, which always kind of helped us to a fair few players left to better leagues. It's a common thing, isn't it? Because plenty of Albanians left.
I was just going to say,
yeah. I mean, that's a different case as well, because as far as I'm concerned, Igli Tare, former Lazio and Lecce player who used to play for the national team, Albanian national team, he helped like 30 or 40 Albanians to move to Italy when they were like 16, 17. So obviously better environment, better facilities, better coaches help you to grow, and probably out of that 14, like maybe at least 6 or 7 made it as a pros, which is a big number. And maybe hopefully with us as well, like that, a few good tournaments kind of prove us well, and we'll have like more players leaving for better leagues, and that's something to build up on. And we'll see that. We'll see, but I think that will be a case sometime soon.
I think with a more competitive team now though as well, like you get more like diaspora players who maybe wouldn't have bothered than like Mikatadze and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe would have just gone out in the past.
That's also a case of like the team Kosovo, like half their team is born in Switzerland. Which geography also kind of plays its part, and where you're located at, because most of our Georgians have left the country to Russia back in the 90s, and with them being a big country, it's always kind of difficult to make as a footballer. If we were located somewhere near even the Balkans or near Central Europe, obviously it would have been way easier for our players to and the diaspora representatives to make it as footballers, as better footballers. With the diaspora, I think in 5-10 years' time away from now, we'll have more and more players coming in from other countries, and that's a huge boost, because the quality of coaching, the quality of facilities, the environment, the mentality is way different. And you can also sense, like with Mikhail as well, he's struggling with Ajax right now. He's not really playing much, but he's a different kind of player. I've never seen a Georgian striker, I think after Shota Arveladze, be so prolific and be so advanced in the way he scores, just because he's not born in here. He hasn't been developed as a player in Georgia. He's got that French football school, so there's definitely a positive. Same with Sazonov as well, same with Zitashvili as well. So in furious times, as many foreign ball Georges will be acquired by us, I think it will only benefit us, and we've got plenty of them in our under 19s and the 17s. We've also got one of an Englishman, or half English, half Portuguese, Wagner Gonzalez Chubinito, something like that. His name is. He plays for the under 17 Georgia national team. He's got the most London accent ever, but he's like he I think he might actually he plays for Bournemouth. I think he plays for Bournemouth. He could also be someone interesting for us to monitor in the future. There are like 10 or 20 players who are born in different countries who are representing our youth internationals, and we'll probably see plenty of them come a few 5 years from now. So yeah.
So in the 2030 World Cup, when all three of us will go to all 24 countries that it's been held in and watch Georgia win the pot
with Thogden in it.
Thogden live on.
Yeah.
It does. It reminds me a little bit of like the whale.
I can't wait for Thogden to go to Saudi. By the way, that World Cup needs to hurry up. Hi guys, I'm here drinking and gone.
It does remind me of the kind of Wales mentality of 2016 of like build upon what you have and then it kind of builds momentum. Like Rob Page at the minute is telling Welsh players to find another club in January to get minutes before.
Really?
That was he's like, you need to find clubs that are going to want to play you because we've got like a club mentality for a national team is absolutely
different. I think it's way different.
Wonderful.
Way different as well because as a player you could be technically sound, you could be amazing on the ball, but football is as far surpassed the individualism right now, which I'm not the hugest fan of, but that's the reality we're living in. And you have to be that team player. You have to be not only like a system merchant, but you have to know how to play with 10 other men on the pitch. So yeah, I think that will help us in many other countries, not only us, but countries who've got a large diaspora weight. So yeah.
Well, we're definitely due a visit, Fionn. Oh no, I've got. I was going to tell Luka the other day. I've got it planned because I've got music video planning in my head. We're going to go Moldova. We're going to go Georgia. We're going to go all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sheriff Tiraspol.
Yeah. I've got that. Yeah. The warmest scarf. I didn't wear it. Right. I bought it 2 years ago. I didn't wear it once, and it's so warm. I can't believe I never wore it. I was gonna very, very quickly before I let you go, Luke, because it is fucking daft o'clock where you are. Just wanted to get a quick jibe about Shakora in, because they've got the same points total as Derby. So there you go. Shakora Coboletti with 11 points. Oh fuck me! Just noticed that. All right, yeah, James. Have a guess how many goals Shakora Coboletti conceded this season.
No.
36.
How many goals they've conceded in the last 3 games?
Oh, right, okay. Go
on.
18?
No.
Oh, 27, James.
Yeah.
Back-to-back 9-3, back-to-back 9-0 defeats. 2 of them at home as well. But they conceded 112 goals this season.
Yeah, also speaking of at home, they've never played at home this season. They've played on 4 different stadiums in 4 different cities.
Right, okay. Well, maybe a bit more of an excuse for getting twatted 9-0. I was going to say, I don't know if there's a couple of months ago. I don't know if you'll be able to talk about it, but that's the lad who I was nearly involved with the transfer of. Can we talk about that or not? We can talk about that.
Yeah, fair mate. So the agent, the guy who was at the club at the time, he now got acquired by Ghent. He's a scout for Ghent right now. So big up to Micha for his progressing career. So the deal about him was he sent me like a full 40-minute presentation of the way the deal went to. So basically, that player, the Ugandan international, was mistaken by his agents, who weren't actually his agents. Basically, guy came to him and was like, "Oh, I got a team for you." In Scotland, it was like, well, fair enough, because I mean, why not? And that guy actually got a fake contract so that he could have applied for a visa to Scotland in the Ugandan embassy. It went through, but obviously the team never signed him, so he was just there in Stoke on Trent. And he was like, especially he's like 17 or 18, so obviously it's difficult for you to just move away from your home at that age and they're just being held hostage in Stoke, not knowing not knowing where you go, right? So
that's the clip. That's the clip, Eugene. By the way, held hostage in Stoke.
Yeah, title of the episode.
And so basically, it was a discussion with him. Like, Dinamo Tbilisi got in contact with him, with his agent. The Dinamo Tbilisi head scout got in touch with his agent, who wasn't his agent at all, probably. At first he refused, then it was all right, then he refused again. But then when they kind of all agreed, which was like a 2-week, I texted you, was like, there's a guy in Stoke, and he just disappeared for like a few days. That's why I didn't reply to you because like we never knew what was happening with him. Then he came to.
No, it's great because I got a message off you about 5 a.m. Can you sort a taxi from Stoke to Manchester? Okay, why?
Yeah.
But I was nearly involved in a Dinamo to that. I was like, yes, I will do. I will get all over there.
That's amazing.
So he just disappeared, yeah?
No, he disappeared, then he reappeared. And the case was, there was a flight booked for him to Tbilisi with a transfer from Istanbul or Ankara. I think it was Istanbul. And just because he didn't have a real visa to England, he got denied entrance to Georgia. Don't know how that works. Shit. Then he moved from Istanbul back to Uganda, where he got the visa, he got the documents, and then he moved back to Istanbul, then to Georgia. He's now at the team training. He was training with the team like a month ago. Not sure if he's still held hostage somewhere else. And he's 17, so he's not able to. I know that's also one thing. Yeah, he should have signed a contract legally, but he couldn't because the team didn't really get his release papers. I'm not sure what you call it in English. So FIFA there's rules like you can't sign a player on contract if the transfer window was closed. So the paperwork he needed was 4 or 5 days overdue. So then he wasn't able to sign with anyone. And now Dinamo Tbilisi is waiting for the 1st of January to come for them to pen a deal with him. And he will be a first team member. I think he's got a transfer profile. He's called Francis Mutiaba. Hopefully he does well. Hopefully does well. Maybe he's someone who'll be the next African gem in Georgia.
He's another Georgian claim to fame for me.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. It was just such a bizarre, superb message to receive. Like fucking woke up like 6:30. Luka, 2 hours ago. Can you sort a taxi?
Because my mate also my mate's cousin lives in Manchester, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to drive there if you guys need it." It was like, but just because there was no communication with the guy, like, what are you doing? Like, do you want to go or not? Because he was scared to leave his hotel as well. So that kind of stalled the whole kind of process. But eventually, after like 3 or 4 more days, he finally landed in Istanbul. Well, he got rejected to Georgia, but then he went back to Uganda, go back to Istanbul, and then to Georgia. So, yeah, all good now. He's healthy, happy, probably, and ready to sign his contract on the 1st of January. So,
there we go.
Wow, what a way to end the Theon the Taser involved in a transfer.
Yeah.
I know. What could possibly go wrong?
Everything went wrong.
Oh yeah, exactly. The opposite of Fabrizio Romano, Fabrizio Napoli, if you will.
Here we go again.
Here we go back to Uganda.
thank you so much, Luke. It's an absolute pleasure having you on.
As always, mate.
My pleasure, mate.
Oh, do you want to plug some of this? Is the store live now or not? Or have I just ruined that?
Not yet. Unfortunately, but you're going to be live, so I'll let people know. I'll let people know.
We will get it. We'll get it massively promoted for you, mate. Because you've sent me it for you sent me it for free, so you will be forever in my heart, of course. Oh, and as well. Little announcement coming in time for Orthodox Christmas on January the 5th. I'm going to put the Tbilisi video out that Luka helped with, and I've asked for more help with because I thought I've realised I need more time to be filled. It's only a 2-minute 50 song, but there we go. There's only so long I can cut a kachapuri in an Armenian restaurant with that. But yeah, that's it. But yeah, thank you very much.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you to everyone who listens. You can follow us at Cultures Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Follow Luca at Georgian Footy as well. And also a shout out to Print by Rob, who's been running our competitions for us. Cumbrian-based artist. He's fantastic. He's been running some competitions that some people have won prints from. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
You know, man. You know who.
But yeah, we'll see you again. Right, we'll see you next week, guys. Au revoir.
Bye-bye.